the jungle, everyone. I'm Kyle Phelps, and we're at that moment in the season where pretenders get exposed, contenders double down. You lose this week, and you're suddenly staring up at the mountain. So buckle the hell up. So let's get into it. Alright, so right off the bat this week, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers coming here to Cincinnati to play my Bengals. We're going to see that on Who Dey versus Who Dat tomorrow night. I'm fucking nervous, y'all, I'm not going to lie. I'll tell you one thing, though. Once that offense gelled last week, it looked a lot more competent. Maybe not amazing, but it looked a lot more competent with Flacco than it ever did with Browning. Would have been nice if they didn't have to go through that 4-game losing streak to figure it out and completely undo all the progress they made on that 2-0 start, but fuck, it wouldn't be Bengals football if we weren't just living on a knife's edge constantly, right? Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers are quietly BSing their way to the top of the AFC North, and that's just great. Aaron Rodgers out here making the Jets look somehow more stupider than normal. And I'm sure we'll protect Flacco better than the Browns protected Dylan Gabriel last week, but I still think it's going to be an ugly one. I'm not ready to believe again, but I might be ready to get hurt again. So this week's London game features the Los Angeles Rams and the London Jaguars. Oh wait, I'm sorry, that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. That must have been a typo. Could be because the Jaguars actually have a higher winning percentage in London than they do at their own home stadium, which is actually a true stat. You can look that up. But they get to test it this week against the Rams, who survived a trip to Baltimore last week where everything went wrong, kind of for both teams, but they somehow pulled it off against the Cooper Rush-led Ravens, 17-3 after scoring only 3 points in the entire first half. I know Vegas favors the Rams pretty heavily, and what do they know? Like, have you seen Geno Smith play lately? Alright, next up, we got the Saints at the Bears and going to Chicago in Soldier Field. The Saints, I gotta say, have every right to be pissed after that mess in Foxborough last week. Saints fans are calling for the refs to be investigated, and it's just a mess. So I don't understand. But, you know, I do know a Saints fan who might be able to explain a little better and probably a little angrier than me, right? So, Mikey, why don't you come on and tell us real quick what you think about this?
Alright, so if you don't know how football works, when his knee's down on the ground, the ball is in his hands, and then the ball comes out late. So there's no point. Is that a fumble? Now I just gotta ask how are you getting paid, and are you blind? Because Juwan Johnson's big old knee was down. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mikey, but I don't know quite what the refs were thinking. The Bears aren't world beaters. The Saints honestly better show up angry, because the Bears damn sure won't give a shit. And now, for your viewing pleasure, some of you lovely people will have the absolute pleasure to watch the Miami Dolphins and Cleveland Browns this week on CBS. You'll watch it, and you'll like it. Okay, so this one's basically an early season tank bowl between the two teams that God forgot. Miami, coming off another collapse, where Tua threw 3 picks and somehow still looked surprised about it the whole time, while Cleveland just got predictably steamrolled in Pittsburgh, as I'm sure nobody is surprised about. Dylan Gabriel at least managed to get his cardio in while throwing for 52 passes and 0 touchdowns. I'm not sure he accomplished much else beyond that, though. If the Browns can't get their offense moving and Tua keeps giving out turnovers like crazy, then we might end up watching the first 0-0 tie since before we beat the Nazis. Hey, don't tell Saints fans, but New England earned a hard-fought win against the Saints last week. I know. But a win's a win, you know. Tennessee, on the other hand, just got bullied by a Raiders defense that hadn't looked scary since Clinton was in office. No, not that one, the other one. Cam Ward spent all afternoon picking turf out of his face mask, and now he gets a Mike Vrabel defense that hits way harder than the Raiders do. If the Titans don't find some protection fast, May's going to walk out of Nashville with another notch in his Rookie of the Year case. Speaking of the Raiders, whom I've actually already thrown shade at twice in this video, sorry. Not really. Devin White looked like he was auditioning for an all-pro comeback tour this year against the Titans. And that's cute and all, but they get a Patrick Mahomes coming off of a statement game where he threw for 3 touchdowns, scrambled for another, and basically gave me an ulcer the whole time. Gross. But don't let anyone tell you that the Chiefs aren't still a good football team, and I hate to admit it. Just ask Lions fans. Then again, Jermaine Pratt knows how to beat the Chiefs, and the Raiders do have a way of randomly getting wins against the Chiefs out of nowhere every once in a while. Not often, but it'll happen at the weirdest times, so... Don't look now, but the Philadelphia Eagles suddenly look human again. It's 2 straight losses now, and Jalen Hurts is missing wide open touchdowns like he's allergic to them or something. I don't know. That Giants game was ugly. Turnovers, missed reads. Now they've got to fly into Minnesota. And Carson Wentz doesn't look that much different than J.J. McCarthy. So the Vikings might not scare you on paper exactly, but they're scrappy and they're coming fresh off of a bye. So if Hurts and the tush-push offense don't find a rhythm soon, then the skulls will be deafening. Alright, Jets-Panthers. Something's got to give here, honestly. The Jets put up the worst performance we've seen in England since Boris Johnson. With minus 10 passing, that's a real stat, you can look it up. Minus 10 passing yards in London, that's just performance art, honestly. Justin Fields looked like he was playing behind a folding chair, while Denver racked up 9 sacks and still somehow made the whole thing look pretty boring. The Jets can't block, or they can't throw, and they can't coach a 2-minute drill without committing some war crimes in England. If they somehow win this, though, it's probably because Dowdle overslept. Now this next one's got some juice. The Giants just punked the Eagles in prime time. You got Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo, a man named Scattaboo, out here just looking like an absolute monster. They played fearless, physical, and it was actually really fun watching the New York Giants for once. But now, they walk into Denver, where Sean Payton's defense is out for blood. 9 sacks last week, minus 10 passing yards allowed, like I said in the last one. Bo Nix doesn't light up scoreboards. He overthrows a lot. But he also doesn't screw up all that often. And that's been enough for a Broncos team that's keeping their heads above water this year. I do think this is going to be a pretty tough test for them. That Broncos defense is going to make Jackson Dart see some ghosts. So the Colts and Chargers are up this week. They both found ways to win last week, but they did it in totally, completely different styles. Indianapolis leaning on Jonathan Taylor to carry the offense, and Daniel Jones settling into a role where he doesn't have to go win the game, he just has to avoid losing it, which he's surprisingly doing a very good job with. The Los Angeles Chargers, meanwhile, look exactly like a Jim Harbaugh team now. They signed Bobby fucking Hart, which that makes no sense, but they're also trusting Justin Herbert to make the right throw when the game's on the line. Both teams want to control tempo. That's a similarity. So this might come down to who wins in the trenches. And since Bobby Hart is on one of those teams, then that's probably going to be the Indianapolis Colts in that case. But we'll see. All right, we got Washington and Dallas next. And heading into this one, Washington's kind of reeling. They just lost to the fucking Bears. And, I mean, maybe the Bears aren't as bad as we thought they were, but, you know, still, Jaden Daniels' late fumble sealed that 25-24 loss to Chicago. And now they've got to show up to Dallas with their fucking ass in front of them or something. I don't know. If Washington wants to salvage respect, they're going to need to make this game hurt for Dallas. But if the Cowboys offense gets rolling and the defense can't answer, then this is going to end up being a bloodbath on the other side. Congratulations, Packers. You didn't lose to Joe Flacco twice in one season. Yay. Jordan Love still isn't lighting up the stat sheet, and he threw a pick against the Bengals early in that game, which made me feel really good, but, you know, fuck me, I guess. But when your defense actually holds up, then you'll take that, right? Arizona, on the other hand, they can't finish. And now they gotta face a team that specializes in capitalizing on desperation. If Josh Jacobs is even half alive in this one, and Jordan Love stays upright the whole time, then the Cards are going to be sitting at 2-5 pretty fucking quickly. Ooh, Falcons and 49ers. This might be one of the weirdest primetime matchups of the week. Atlanta's coming in off of a legitimate statement win over the Buffalo Bills. Goddamn, okay. Michael Penix didn't make a single mistake the whole time. Drake London was uncoverable. And the Falcons finally looked like a real football team, much to Mikey's chagrin. But now they get the San Francisco 49ers, who basically, like every year, really, are running an infirmary at this point. No Purdy, no Bosa, no Kittle, and now Fred Warner's hurt too. Like, these guys just can't catch a break, but they're still a pretty good football team nonetheless. Mac Jones has been fine filling in. You got to give him credit. But this roster, you know, like I said earlier, is held together with duct tape. If the Falcons can't take advantage of this walking hospital ward, they don't deserve to be taken seriously, even if they did beat the fucking Bills. And now for the primetime matchup that I'm looking a lot more forward to. You've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions. It's going to be the perfect litmus test for either of these teams and who they actually are. Baker Mayfield's out here playing like the guy who I've always said he is. Meanwhile, Detroit just got punched in the mouth by Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. The worst part is they kind of looked a little soft while doing it. Sorry, Dan Campbell, but it's true. If the Lions are truly legit contenders, then they're going to have to answer back home against what may be the best team in football right now. Because you know that Baker Mayfield is waiting on the other side with a chip on his shoulder the size of Raymond James Stadium. But luckily, they're playing at Ford Field. Alright, our very final primetime matchup of the week. You got the Houston Texans going to Seattle to play the Seahawks. The Houston Texans, who dropped 44 on the Ravens a couple of weeks ago. Meanwhile, the Seattle Seahawks just handled business in Jacksonville, and Sam Darnold, like I said, actually looked composed. JSN did well. That defense was bullying Trevor Lawrence all night, like he owed them money or something like that. This one's got the potential to be one of the best games of the week, and not a lot of people are talking about it. Alright, now you are fully prepared to watch football this weekend. You couldn't have done it without me, I know, so you're welcome. Alright, but before I lose my mind watching Thursday Night Football this weekend, which... Oh god, it's Bengals Steelers. Oh man, oh fuck. Please don't hurt me again, Bengals. But anyway, we're bringing in Mikey, and he's got this week's power rankings, and I am both terrified and also kind of excited to see what kind of nonsense he cooks up this week. So Mikey, why don't you say hi to everybody?
What's good in my gang? Who that nation? We gotta stick together out here. Anyways, power rankings. Number 10, bro, I'm just gonna hop right into it. Got the Seattle Seahawks after they had a pretty good win against a previously 4-1 Jacksonville team. You know, the defense holding Trevor Lawrence, who scored 31 points against the Kansas City Chiefs, to only 12 points. However, their offense wasn't as good as it was last week, but hey, they were good enough to get the job done. 20 points is enough to win if you're Seattle. And you just played. Sam Darnold's been looking pretty freaking good since joining Seattle. Seattle, y'all ran number 10 spot. Number 9, Rams. Great defensive win, man. I understand it's just the Ravens led by Cooper Rush in the offense. But hey, man, that defense looks elite, bro. You know, holding the Ravens to 3 points. The Rams gonna have to do a little bit more for me to jump up higher. But hey, you gotta start somewhere, right?
But Mikey, the Rams beat the Super Bowl contender Baltimore Ravens. Like, don't you know that the Ravens are one of the best teams in the NFL? And so shouldn't the Rams beating them, shouldn't the Rams basically be number 1 now? I'm just saying.
Well, you see, I think Super Bowl contenders have to not be picking top 5 in the draft at this current moment. So, Rams on number 9 for now. At number 8, we got the San Francisco 49ers, man. I dropped them a couple spots after losing to the Bucks, and you'll see later where I have the Bucks. Some people might be surprised by that. Some people might not.
People already know what the power rankings are. They can see them on the screen right now. Well, not right now, but when I'm not talking, they can see them on the screen.
Yeah, well, the 49ers are at number 8. Like, the thing with their loss, it's like, I'm not really going to punish them too hard because you lost to a better team without your entire receiving group. Plus, Fred Warner went down. You don't have Nick Bosa. Life sucks if you're a football fan. You're definitely not going up after that game. So, number 8, and hey, maybe you can get back in the top 5 next week. Maybe not. But yeah, number 7 though, we got the Philadelphia Eagles, man. I was struggling with this team. It's like, do I want to keep them in the top 5 or do I want to take them out? Overall, I took them out because I looked at it and I'm like, you lost to the Giants. Even we beat the Giants and we are trash. But like, you're supposed to be the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions, and you're out here losing to a rookie QB. It shouldn't matter how good Jackson Dart is. You're supposed to humble the rookies because you are supposed to be the veterans. So, yeah, y'all number 7 for now. And plus, that Denver game is also, like, if the Giants was your first loss, okay, I would understand that. But you also lost to Denver where it felt like you had control to the very end. Number 6, we have the Steelers, dude.
No.
Talk about the Steelers?
No. Not allowed.
What?
I'm very upset with you.
Every time the Steelers are number 6?
Yeah, no, I'm going to throw shade at them every time you give them any credit for anything, ever.
Okay.
Fuck the Steelers.
Well, what if they deserve the credit?
They don't.
Okay.
Fundamentally. Moralistically.
They were struggling with Cleveland, but it's like, they did hold them off at the very end. And, yeah, Steelers, though.
They steal the happiness of children.
We'll see Thursday. At number 5, we got the Kansas City Chiefs.
Why?
I didn't want to put them here. In fact, bro, I was debating. I didn't want to put them here, but it's like, especially after that Jacksonville game, but it's like, they put up 30 points against the number 1 team. It's like, in my opinion, last week. So it's like, I didn't want to do it. Trust me, I had them at like number 8, but then I was like, my freaking fingers was just moving and stuff. So then they just dragged them to number 5, and I couldn't stop it. But
they make pills for that.
Yeah, I've taken a few of those before.
Exactly. So I mean, it would solve the problem.
Yeah. It would also solve the problem if Juju Smith-Schuster. Hey, you saw that punch out by Brian Branch?
Juju Smith-Schuster's a bitch.
Number 4, we got the Indianapolis Colts. Man, the Colts gave a little scare against the Arizona Cardinals, but they hold them off. Daniel Jones is still playing. Oh, hold on. I don't think I can say it. Daniel. Oh, it's disgusting. Oh, bro, I think I probably ate something bad. Daniel
yeah, I don't like it either.
I said it. Daniel Jones is actually playing great football.
I empathize with you. I really do. The Cardinals were literally, like, with 58 seconds left to go, they were on the 9-yard line,
Yeah, well, good teams find ways to win, so.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're not a good team. I'm just saying, like, that was a rough one for them.
This was probably the hardest week of my power rankings life. Because, like, I had to switch my top 10 like 6 different times before I actually came to agreement. It's like, getting crazy. Speaking of crazy, let's talk about the number 3 team who I was debating whether how far I should drop them. The Detroit Lions, man, they freaking lost to the Kansas City the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like, bro, I think every single time I have a team at number 1, they just refuse to cooperate. Did I get the did I get the Tom Grossi curse or the Brandon Perna curse or whatever, where all my number 1 teams just lose? Wait, does that mean the Buccaneers lose this week? Now at number 35, we have the Buffalo Bills.
Now hold on, this says you have the Bills at number 2.
Wait, no, number 202? I agree.
No. Why are the Bills at number 202, Mikey?
Because you lost to the Falcons.
They didn't just lose to the Falcons, they lost decisively to the Falcons.
Man, y'all almost pitched a second half shutout and you still couldn't win. Y'all all the 2s. Y'all number 502, 702. You don't deserve to be a top 32 team.
You're only allowed to be in one spot, though.
It's my freaking power rankings. Let me do what I want.
Okay. So, speaking of your power rankings that you picked and you decided, would you like to tell us why you chose your number 1 team?
I wouldn't like to say it, but I have to. The Buccaneers are number one for a few reasons. First of all, they know how to win games. Second of all, feels like almost all their wins came against good teams. You know, they lost to the Eagles, but even in that game, they almost came back and won. They just beat 49ers. I understand the 49ers are hurt. But so was Tampa Bay. They didn't have Ibuka. They didn't have Mike Evans. They didn't have Godwin. And yet they still put up 30 points. It's like, bro, good teams know how to win games. And they're not only a good team, but the best team in the NFL. But they will lose this week because I have them at number one. So let's see who my new number one team is next week.
Sometimes you're a little unhinged. So I don't know what I should exactly be expecting with some of your power rankings. Regardless, still appreciate you showing up and doing your power rankings every week.
Yes, sir.
All right. And now you guys can obviously tell us all about how you feel about it in the comments. But next, we got a good segment from Nick and Jake Beskell, as always. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to them. And tell us what you got this week, guys.
What is going on, you guys? It's Nick. It's Jake. And this is episode 6 of Niche Nonsense for week
episode 6 of Niche Nonsense. That's what we're doing.
Week 6 of the NFL 2025 season. And the first thing I want to bring up is the safe bets that we had from the last week's episode, because there's a few games that happened last week that kind of went by the numbers and kind of the results were exactly the way that everybody kind of expected.
Right.
So we made some safe calls and we were right. We predicted the outcome of 5 games. And we were right on 3 of the 5 of them.
Go ahead and tell
Those
us
being
what games we were right on.
Packers beat the Bengals, the Broncos did in fact beat the Jets, and the Patriots did beat the Saints, just as we thought.
And well, that's all well and good. We did actually get 2 wrong.
Cool.
We thought that the Giants were going to lose against the Eagles, and that ended up not happening. And we also thought that the Falcons were going to lose against the Bills. Neither of those things happened. So the teams we predicted to lose won, actually. So good for them. It goes to show you that no matter how cut and dry the NFL season may appear to be, you can't always predict it. You can't always predict NFL.
I'm very glad that those results happened to spice
They
things
pulled
up
through.
a little bit and make it worth watching and for us to all keep coming back.
Yeah.
So while we're revisiting old topics, I want to bring up the touchdown celebrations that we covered a few episodes ago.
Week 2.
We had Tez Johnson from the Buccaneers. When he got a touchdown this week, he did a cartwheel and a backflip. And that tops our rating because that's cool.
Yeah,
man.
flips are impressive.
Very fun to watch. Very cool. It stood out.
It beats
in my
out
mind.
all of the 5
all of the
things
stuff
that
we
counted
did have
down
to
in top
say.
line.
So that's very awesome.
Very good. Very good. And wow, to make that list of top 5 celebrations, you had to win because if you celebrate and lose, you just kind of end up looking
so
like a
important for you to win and back it up.
Yes.
Because if you lose, you just look like an overconfident.
It's really annoying when really annoying when you're like rooting for a team and they're down 20 points, 20
plus 4
and then they end up like
celebrating.
celebrating.
Like, do we need to be doing that?
Do we need to be doing that when we're like
some of the time? Sometimes it like takes up time.
Yeah,
because they like slow down before.
It's not
like, come on,
like just play football.
All right, what do you want to play as? I'm gonna play as Len McQueen.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll be Dinoco Lightning McQueen.
Dude, no way, an 8? Yes! Free parking! Yes! I win a free parking! I am safe! Woohoo! Swish! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! You see that? Oh yeah! Uh-huh. Alright, one more turn! I'm gonna win, you're gonna lose.
What in the world are you even talking about? You still have to get through my entire kingdom.
Oh, I got this one, no problem. It is time for our predictions.
Yes, with that.
Here we go.
Yes, we had some super safe bets last week.
Those didn't end up coming true at all.
So we are going to get safer. We're buckling
safer.
down
We
safer.
need to be safer.
Safer picks.
We need to make sure that these predictions are 100%
they have
accurate.
a 100% likelihood of happening.
Yeah, so listen
the
to
first
this right
one
here.
is that players will run
Tackles will occur.
and teams will win. That's all three.
mind-blowing predictions
Yes.
for everybody.
All three of them will come true. They're that safe.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the time we have for this
Thanks
episode.
for watching.
Thanks for watching.